Hey guys, what's going on? I can't say that this is another ladder game. It is unfortunately just an additional custom game, but I'm going to be facing off here. My position as the pink Terran in the top left corner, facing off this very close distance in this new Coalition 2 vs 2 desert themed map. Just right across the way here in this eastern direction is Racist, the second Terran player. On that note, if I recall, both players, they don't scout each other correctly until the mid-game, which is kind of ironic, seeing as we're so close to each other. I mean, right now you can see my first scouting SCV is going entirely in the wrong direction. But the fates chose to place our command centers this close to each other, so it should make for an interesting T versus T match. I do play random, so I can't claim to specialize in the Terran race, but Racist, by contrast, fancies himself a Terran player, so let's see what both players can make happen. Racist deciding to go for that wall-off barracks here. Myself also with similar thinking. But yeah, once again, Racist, both Racist and Rapt, sending their SCVs in the complete incorrect direction. But at least we're trying. Racist now successfully actually rallying his SCVs directly to that patch, whereas before he was just rallying them in the vicinity. A pretty big mistake, but he has made amends for that. So, not the best timing here on these SCVs, actually cancelling that second one to ensure that my orbital command comes out quickly, also getting a refinery relatively early. No gas coming in yet from Racist, so perhaps he's just making some marines. But yeah, I have that second refinery queued up now. Still searching for my opponent's base. We're just feeling pretty antsy here over Ventrilo with each other. Maybe suspecting that one of the Terran forces have lifted off their command center, possibly to an island expansion or just a more obscure expansion. You do see that on some maps like Scrap Station, for example, or Lost Temple, some of the older ones, where right off the bat a Terran player will try something tricky, like they'll do a planetary fortress rush, which you guys may have seen videos of. That basically just entails very early, like immediately, for the most part, lifting off your command center, landing it right in your opponent's base, and then just quickly getting that planetary fortress as soon as your engineering bay is finished. So obviously that is a controversial strategy, but you do see that, and you also just see, I think the map is Kulos Ravine. On Kulos Ravine you can lift off your command center immediately. You can load up your SCVs and lift it off to the high yield location or just the high ground location. What that does is it hides your base from any initial scouting from your enemy, and it also just makes your starting location very more defendable. On the other hand, though, you lose a lot of income during the time that your command center is flying, and you are vulnerable to certain attacks, just like any cheese strategy is, really. But at this point, we have finally scouted each other. Racist operating off of 2 barracks. He's got that very early engineering bay, operating off of 1 refinery with only a single SCV harvesting from it, so he's not too interested in Vespine, whereas myself, by contrast, I need that gas. It looks like I've got 2 refineries fully saturated, now bringing 2 factories into the mix. I have this 1 barracks here with a tech lab. I don't know if that was a strong choice to get this tech lab. Perhaps I will transfer a factory. Yeah, I'm doing that right now. Or it seems that way. I have lifted off this barracks, dropping it back down, probably because I don't want to open my front door just yet. Racist is trying some sort of a contain, so you do have to applaud his bravado here in this Terran vs Terran game, actually cancelling that 1 barracks bunker, excuse me, making that probably improving the positioning just a bit. But I'm getting that an additional marine here because I do catch vision of this superior marine force, and I realize I don't have very many units in play. Getting also this Hellion out is just some insurance, making my first command center, or my second one, going to be floating that off to an expansion, no doubt. But yes, I am transferring this factory here to this tech lab, so making good use of that tech lab. This barracks here is just idling. I could perhaps scout with that. Not making anything else out of these factories. I now have a siege tank coming in, but I don't have the income at this point that is necessary to operate off of 2 factories. I'm now lifting off this barracks, probably going to be doing some scouting with that. Likewise, we have the first factory coming in from Racist. He has chosen to go for sort of like a more turtle infantry game plan, whereas myself, I have factory tech in the game much earlier, so let's see what I can do with that. This siege tank being incorrectly rally pointed, that's going to be outside my wall off. Actually, a good scan here, going to be catching this free siege tank. This siege tank getting this marine down to 30 HP, trying to do some microing. Will it get back in time? No, it's probably going to fall to these marines. The siege tank just getting picked off. Now the supply depot denying entry to this base. The Hellion doing what it does best against infantry, doing that bonus damage, I believe, to light units. Yeah, it does do 6 bonus damage to these marines. But as far as units lost, it looks like Purple will take the cake as far as that goes. He killed that 1 siege tank, which was pretty expensive. I have lost 325 resources compared to the 2 marines that I killed from Racist. As far as production, Racist has won games in the past with timing attacks from marines with that 1 infantry upgrade, so it looks like that's what he's trying to do. I'm pumping siege tanks still, and my second orbital command is being brought into play. Something I've learned of late, you see higher skilled players, actually they make their orbital command before they